I paid a stranger to unlock my wife's hidden phone. I wasn't ready for what I saw. A while back, we switched internet providers, and our new modem came with an app to manage the network and connections. It was unreal how many devices we had connected to the Wi-Fi. I was playing in the app one night and noticed an Android device.phone. We both have Apple devices. At first, I thought someone had guessed our Wi-Fi password, so I changed our passwords, but it came back a few days later. I was working from home one day and noticed the Android phone disappeared when my wife Cindy went to work, and when she got home that evening, the Android device returned. I finally got a chance to look through her car, and later, her purse, but came up empty. That night, while she was in the shower, I went through her gym bag and finally found it tucked away in her briefcase. I didn't have time to try and look through it, so I put it back. The next time she went to the gym, I went to look through it, but it was gone. The next night, I found it again in the briefcase. This time I took it and tried to unlock it, but none of her old passwords would work. I decided to take the phone to a repair place down the street to see if they could unlock it. I had to confess to the tech the real reason for wanting to get into the phone, as I am a lame liar, and he felt sorry for me, I guess, and an hour later called me and said he was finished. He backed everything up to a thumb drive that I read when I got back home. I saw all the pictures and texts between her and two different guys over the last 9 months, including graphic discussions about their hookups. 6 years of marriage up in smoke, thought I was having a heart attack, couldn't breathe, and just sat there at the computer staring at it all. I got better after an hour and guessed it was just a panic attack. When Cindy got home, she was very anxious. She wandered around the house, obviously looking for her phone. I asked if she was okay, and she said she lost some papers from work and needed to find them. I offered to help, but she said she would find them. I got her back in the kitchen and pulled the burner phone out and asked if this was what she was looking for. There was that deer in the headlight look on her face and panic starting to rise. I said there could be only one reason why you would have a second phone in your briefcase, and I asked if she was cheating on me, which she denied. I said, fine, then give me the password so I can see for myself what is on it. She tried to turn it around on me and that I was invading her privacy. I handed her back the phone and said her response just proved my suspicions. I sat down on the sofa and felt a hot flash again and started to cry a little. When she saw the tears, she softened and said it was only once and she felt guilty about it and cut things off. I opened up the file on my tablet and handed it to her and asked, only once? She kept saying she was sorry, that it wasn't my fault, and that she wanted to stay together. I said I needed some space to think and we needed to separate while I decided how to move forward. She disagreed and said we needed to talk it out. So I started asking questions. Married? Co-workers? How did they meet? Where did they hook up? What kind of sex did they have? What did she do with them that she hasn't done with me? Were they bigger than me? Did she use protection? She finally said enough, she couldn't do this anymore. She asked how long I had known. I said I found the phone a week ago, but didn't see what was on it till today. I said I was still in shock and needed time to process it all. She agreed to spend the rest of the week at her sister's house, and we could talk more this weekend. She wants to schedule a session with a marriage counselor next week, and I agreed to that. I didn't tell her I would be consulting an attorney tomorrow to get an idea of my options. Last Christmas, her sister got a divorce after finding out her husband was having an affair. There were several family discussions about cheating at her parents' house and how low her ex-bill was for betraying his wife. I can't imagine what was going through her mind sitting there being just as guilty. The thought of leaving her kills me, but I don't think I could forgive her or ever trust her again. We had been talking about kids, but I am so glad we were still waiting. New info. First, my to-do list. 1. Attorney showed my text collection to my attorney, and he is proceeding with the filings. He gave me a worksheet on things I need to do in the meantime. Second doctor, all tests came back negative. Third, first AP's wife. I met with her this afternoon and gave her hard copies and a thumb drive. I showed her the pictures they had traded. She is not going to confront him with it until he is served. 4. Cindy's sister, not the one she is staying with, but the one who just divorced her cheating husband. I met with her tonight and showed her my greatest hits, the more damning texts, and let her see what her sister had sent her, APs. She was angry and at the same time a little sad. She apologized to me and said she had no idea what her sister had been up to. If she had, she would have told me. I am sure I will hear about her sister when Cindy comes to the house tomorrow to get some of her things. She wants to sit down and talk, probably about how we are going to move forward. This may be my last entry here on this thread. I may post a separate update later if needed. Update, found her burner phone. Since she has been gone, I have decided to file for divorce and have a lawyer working on it. Her first AP was married, and I have reached out to her and shared their texts. She is currently starting divorce proceedings as well. One of her sisters recently got divorced. Due to her husband's infidelity, I shared everything with her as well. My wife, Cindy, came over to the house last night to get some things and to sit down and talk. She said she was sorry for hurting me, and she is still very much in love with me and wants to stay together. Her affairs were never about the quality or quantity of our sex life, and she asked if I felt like my needs were ever neglected. Our sex life was pretty spicy. We averaged 4 to 5 times a week, and she initiated 50% of the time. She just enjoyed experiencing sex with other people and being showered with attention. She is willing to go to therapy to find out why she desires this, and to help her be a better partner for me. She said she would understand if I wanted a pass to explore or get even by dating another woman. And if that was something I liked, we could look into having an open marriage so we could both explore that together. I told her that was not something I would ever be interested in. She said she missed me and wondered if there was a chance I was ready for her to come home, even if it meant sleeping in the spare bedroom for now. I said it still felt like too soon, and it might be better if we gave it some more time. I didn't tell her that I had filed for divorce. She should get served sometime this next week, according to my lawyer. We had a session scheduled for Wednesday for couples counseling that I have to cancel. Besides the betrayal, our views on our relationship are miles apart to even consider reconciling. Cindy was a little upset when her sister ambushed her over her affairs, but she figured it was coming. I guess her whole family knows at this point, and her parents are upset with her as well. This morning, a few of our mutual friends stopped by to check on me and ended up trying to encourage me to give Cindy another chance and work things out. I asked how much they knew and brought them up to speed, showing them the phone and all its contents. Needless to say, they were previously misinformed and now embarrassed. You've been served. I guess the third time is the charm. It took the process server 3 attempts to serve her today. But at 2:15 p.m., Cindy was finally served at her office. I was surprised it took her an hour to finally call me. She was upset, and I told her it was a simple power exchange. She had all the power before, and now I have taken it back. I told her that before we could talk about reconciliation, I had to be in a safe space, and that meant terminating our old relationship before dealing with anything else. I asked her when she started to cheat, what she thought would happen if she got caught, and isn't that the reason she got a second phone? She still wants to work things out, and I agreed to go to counseling with her, if for no other reason than to get answers to questions I have. At least our insurance is paying for most of the cost of therapy. I have little desire to reconcile, but I'm just playing along till the divorce gets taken care of. Confronting the AP. I had a bit of fun today after work. I stopped off at a downtown restaurant and had a drink in the bar. It was before the dinner rush and pretty slow, so I was able to have a long chat with the bartender. I told him I had recently found that my wife had been cheating with 2 different men for the last year. I told him the first AP was married and that I had met with his wife and given her copies of all the evidence I had collected. She had suspected he had been unfaithful, but never found any proof. She was going to use what I had given her to take him to the cleaners. But she wasn't going to confront him until the day he got served. The bartender asked about the second guy. I said he was single, and I hadn't decided what to do about him yet. But I said I was a big believer in karma, and I wasn't afraid to help karma out if the need arises. He laughed and said that was a good one. I finished my drink and gave him my credit card to tab out. He froze for a second when he saw my name. He gave me my receipt, and I said, "Give my regards to Cindy, my wife," and said, "Be seeing you, Kevin." Burner phone. Update. TL. DR answers to questions from the DMs and update me requests. Recap. 2.5 weeks ago, I confronted my wife with a burner phone I found in her briefcase. I found a tech who could hack the phone and provide me with her messages and pictures on the phone. It told the story of the last 9 months when she had cheated on me with 2 different men. She has spent the last 2.5 weeks at her sister's house while I decide how to move forward. She has continued to push hard on reconciliation. The notable events so far. I shared emails and pictures with the wife of AP number 1. She surprised him with divorce papers last week. I confronted AP number 2 at the restaurant where he works. I said I knew everything and said I would be seeing him, my favorite John Wick line. 2 days later, AP number 2 got fired from his job. Just karma. I had nothing to do with it, swear. Told STBXW's sister, who got cheated on recently, about her sister's shenanigans. Divorce papers were served to my STBXW. credit cards canceled, and bank accounts separated. At my request, she did not attend a birthday party for one of my friends this weekend. She was also uninvited to an annual BBQ with our friend group on Memorial Day. Yesterday, we had a couples counseling session. It started with me getting ripped for costing her APs their marriage and job, respectively. I said, while I had nothing to do with Kevin losing his job, I had no sympathy for either one of them due to what they did to contribute to wrecking our marriage. When I asked how she knew all this, and if she had been in contact with them since we split up, she deflected and said they reached out to her. I asked to see her phone to confirm that, and she refused, so I said, I guess we are done then, and stood up to leave. Our therapist tried to smooth things over and get us talking. I asked why she cheated on me and how she met her APs. She had a very well-rehearsed answer I didn't believe and won't dignify by repeating it here, but she was being very contrite, complete with tears about wanting to reconcile and save our marriage. Of course, she wants to move back in while we work on settling our differences and fixing our relationship. Our therapist did an excellent job of being fair and not trying to take sides. She asked me what I needed to be able to move forward, and I gave her a list of the 5 things I needed. First, full account of the affair, where they met, and how often. All the details with nothing held back. 2, a list of friends and relatives who knew of the affair when it was happening. 3, full access to her phone tonight before we leave. 4, a full apology and confession of the affair on her social media accounts, including the names of her APs. 5, once the divorce is finalized, I would go to therapy with her again to see if we have a relationship left to salvage. After much back and forth, she agreed to everything except number 3 and number 5. I conceded number 3, but said she needed to retain a lawyer and respond to the divorce papers as soon as possible. I told her she killed the marriage when she decided to cheat, and that had to be resolved before we could move forward. This afternoon, she posted her apology confession to her social media accounts, complete with APs tagged. I haven't heard from her since our session, so I don't know about the other items. I also got word that her attorney had reached out to mine to arrange a meeting for next week. Burner phone final update. We met with the lawyers earlier this week, and I was pleased with the settlement for the most part. She agreed to give me the house in exchange for assuming $11,000 of credit card debt. I had originally told her if we had to sell the house, I would be moving to another city, and reconciliation would probably be off the table. I did have to commit to 3 more couples counseling sessions under the pretense of working on having an open relationship. She wants to move back in soon, but I said I needed some more time with my own personal therapist before I'm comfortable with that. All that matters is that she signed the settlement agreement, and after a short waiting period, the divorce will be final. Thanks for everyone's support and advice, and this will be my final update. Once the divorce is final, I will follow one suggestion to let her read the posts and realize the player got played. Burner phone? What a saga. I keep getting update requests, so here goes. My ex Cindy continues to play the pick-me dance. She finally moved into a studio apartment and out of her sister's apartment. I went to 3 sessions of couples counseling. I wanted her to admit why she cheated, but all she wanted to do was insist that we get back together. A waste of time and money, but a necessary evil. Most of our friends have sided with me, but she had a few die-hard friends that took her side. They were surprised, I think, when the rest of our group cut ties with them. I have a good therapist that I have been seeing. All the divorce papers have been signed and filed and are awaiting a sign-off by the judge. We are less than 12 days before the divorce is final. I have had a couple of dinner dates with 2 women from my friend group who have expressed a romantic interest in dating me. At least one of them appreciates that I am waiting till my divorce is final before pursuing any romantic dates. Thank you very much for listening or watching. It helps to support this channel either way. We greatly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe to further support and not miss another story. Until next time, have a great day or night.